Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
The new drug today is I'm in a good mood and it could have been a bad mood. There's two moods. There's good and bad. I'm in a good mood. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva. I was a loser. I didn't even care. I danced into Bono's. Buy food for you losers.
Yes, thank you for the food. It was delicious, as always.
Here's how close it was. It's 48 games, obviously. You two guys were...
We all kind of stunk, to be honest.
We were terrible. You two guys were 33-15, which is really bad.
Yeah,
okay.
Considering the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds pretty much gives you an 8-0 start.
Right. You two losers were 33-15, which is horrendously bad.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being worse. I was 32-16. You beat me by one shot, so I was in Bono's today. I love going into Bono's.
Thank you, Missouri.
And I walk into Bono's, they go, "You lost, didn't you?" The minute I walk, because they all know me, so they you lost, didn't you? So congratulations to you two guys. So JJ and I now both have made the loser list for Loser Monday as we start the season.
So when is the next one?
The Masters, right?
Is it the Masters or Final Four?
Or the
Final four scorers, yeah.
Final Four scorers.
Yeah.
So you're on the clock.
I'm on the Yes, I am, okay.
How about that?
And
you're going to have a decision.
I'll take it right now. I'll take Walter Clayton Jr. I'll take him even if they're not in it, okay? Even if they lose, I'll take him. So we got a lot to do. But I'm telling you, yesterday, I was So Saturday night, we go to dinner. We had about 12 of us at dinner. One of my buddies in my golf group, his birthday, his 60th birthday. Don Kiernan, happy birthday, Don. So we have this
happy birthday.
So we have this big get together on Saturday night. And I'm telling my buddies, my basketball buddy, I don't feel good about tomorrow. Oh, you're a 9.5 point favorite. One buddy, my buddy Brian, was even willing to take the Gators, giving the 9 right then to me. He said, I'll give you UConn and the 9.5 right now. That's how confident I am you're going to blow them out. I said, I can't do that because I'll never bet against my team.
Yeah.
But I don't have a good feel. I didn't have I woke up. I didn't have a good feeling. I texted you.
You texted me. I had a good feeling.
Yeah. I texted Hays about 5 or 10 minutes before the game. I said, I don't feel good about this. I just don't feel good. I told you. I didn't.
And my response, because I'm so brilliant, was they're going to have no answer for our offense.
You did say that, which is logical. No, I mean, it wasn't a bad response, but I told my wife I'm watching it. I texted Hays. I don't feel good about it. I just, they've been there too much. They're a proud team. He's a good coach. So,
well, he totally outcoached Todd Golden.
I thought he did too.
I mean, which is, to be expected.
Yeah.
But Todd Golden, I think, will be better for having been in that.
No
Because I think Hurley completely dominated him on the sideline.
So, but my thinking is, and we're going to talk all about that game, all about the NCAA, where it heads now. A little bit kind of, I do want to, baseball's right around the corner. We're going to touch on that. The draft is right around the corner. I got some thoughts on that. But today it's about the Gators to win in the Sweet 16, the whole bit. But here's the deal. That 12 o'clock game can be phenomenal or can be awful. Because if you lose, if in one of these few years where your team's, if we're Duke or Carolina or Kentucky fans, it's all the time.
Right.
But
it's still disappointing.
Right. It is. But for us, who it's become a once every 10 years thing to be this good, man, you're excited. I mean, I've been excited about this Gator basketball team. I'm tweeting every game. I'm excited. You and I are talking about. We're watching the game. We're watching Friday night at Strings. Great crowd at Strings. By the way, we're having a big time. And so, okay, great. Hey, we get the noon game. Okay. On one side, that's great because if you win that noon game, it was a great day of basketball.
It really
then all the rest of it. If you lose the noon game and you're out,
your day's ruined.
I was going to go play golf. Yeah. I had a couple of buddies play golf. If we'd have lost the game,
I wouldn't have watched another minute.
I would not have watched. I would have been. I should watch because we do this for a living, but I'd have been totally irresponsible.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched.
And I wouldn't have watched. And so when they win. Oh, I was exhilarated. I walked the dog 5 times. I think I danced. I think it's the first time I've ever walked the dog, JJ, while skipping. When's the last time you skipped?
I saw you, actually.
Yeah. I don't know when's the last time people skipped. I skipped when I walked that dog. I was just grinning ear to ear, all my buddy. And we went right after the game was over. We went. We my wife's big into the flowers thing, right? So we do all these flowers.
It looks gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you for that. So she's big into this flowers thing. So we go and I get our tea trees and crotons, which are kind of what we put in the Hawaiian tea trees and the crotons we put in front of the house. So I plant those. And so they died in the freeze, and I hadn't replaced them. This was the week we were going to replace them. So I'm giddy. I skipped to the plant ranch, okay? So we go out, and I'll bet you Suzanne was getting a kick out of this. There must have been at least 3 couples wearing Gator gear, okay, in the plant ranch, getting their plants. I'm not exaggerating here, okay? This is probably 3:30, and they recognize me. They go, "How about that game, Frank?"
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm skipping in. Now I'm in the plant ranch, skipping around. Okay,
Right,
so
right.
happy. And so about three different. So thank you to everyone who said hello at the plant ranch. So, but that's the kind of day it is. And it would have been just so miserable if they had lost the game. We're going to get into the details of why they won and what this means moving forward and some of the trends that came out of the tournament. But the big picture is at least from how miserable that day would have been if you'd lose that game. And especially when UConn, it's different. I'm sure it's miserable for them too, but they knew this wasn't the team they've had the last 2 years. They've had the glory the last 2 years.
Right.
Florida fans, man, this is the year. So it would have been a miserable afternoon.
It really would have been. And again, while my confidence was high pregame, it eroded. I mean, with 10 minutes left in the game, I thought Florida was going to lose. And there's nothing sweeter than, and I was watching with my dad and my son Jackson, and all three of us had very low confidence. And there's nothing sweeter than, I don't think they stole the game, because I think they seized it in the final minutes, thanks to Walter Clayton Jr. primarily. So I don't think they stole the game. But when you win it, when your team wins a game that you are pretty convinced they're going to lose, I don't know that there's a sweeter feeling. And to end UConn's three-peat after they obviously became the latest to go back-to-back, supplanting the 04s. Obviously, Golden knocking out Hurley, what that means for him, what that means for the program to reach the Sweet 16. Because now it feels like it'll be disappointing if Florida loses, obviously. You obviously, when you're a 1 seed, you're hoping you're going to win 6 games and win the national championship. But I now feel like, having survived UConn, it's now going to be really hard for the season to feel like anything other than a perfect 10, even if Maryland beats them in San Fran Thursday night. It just feels like that was the one. If he didn't make it, if he didn't advance out of the first weekend, then I think it would have really left a bitter taste in your mouth for this season and this team,
especially with all these other SEC teams moving on.
Correct, 6 other teams in your conference, moving on. So, the fact that they were able to do it, and again, talking about legacy, I mean, Walter Clayton Jr. scores 8 points, in the final 9 minutes of the game, or actually, I think it was 13. It was 13 points in the final 9 minutes, and then obviously hit a couple of huge threes in the final couple to help Florida pull away. But just a gigantic win. And we'll see. This, hopefully, you'd like to think, makes them a tougher out as the tournament progresses.
Well, I don't think there's any question. We've all talked about it. There's that one game. It's the Butler game in 2000 with Mike Miller's runner. It's the Georgetown game in 06 when Jeff Green missed the jumper. You have to survive the one game, and if you do, look out. It'll make you better. They even said that on the broadcast. Raftery said this is going to make them tougher. I'm going to get into some reasons why I thought they got behind, why they won the whole bit. We're going to break down the game in just a minute. That's how we'll start the show. But I'm not burying the lead on this one. Make no mistake about this. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the best 2 or 3 players to ever wear that uniform. Make no mistake about it. Those 2 threes, look, those were 2 of the biggest shots in Florida basketball history. Now, listen, Mike Miller's shot was gigantic, but it was at the rim. Okay, there were other big. Don't get me wrong, there were other big shots. Craig Brown's 3 consecutive 3-pointers, all coming off the curl against Boston College to get him to the Final Four, were gigantic. But those shots yesterday, with everybody watching, with the intense pressure of being a number 1 seed.
With no momentum,
and you're playing the defending champions, and you're kind of off balance, those 2 threes were unbelievably clutch. No, I don't know that I can remember a Florida player making, and again, Craig Brown hit the 3 off the curl, but it was different. It was Boston College. It was, you had already won the big game against UConn the night before, or 2 nights before. This was, those 2 shots, I even got the impression that Ian Eagle, who's a buddy of mine, I'm going to try to call Ian and talk about it a little bit. I even thought Ian Eagle and Grant Hill and Bill Raftery, who I don't know, couldn't believe it. Did you get that sense?
I did.
They couldn't believe that he made those, because on the second one, Raftery goes, same play.
Right.
Same play. They're
and
running
then
the same
compliments
play.
the defense.
Yeah. Yes. That's
and
right.
as soon as Raftery said that, the big UConn defender went back to the rim.
Yes.
And when he did that, the guard, the primary defender on Clayton, wasn't in a good enough position to really affect the shot. And as soon as that defender dipped back to the paint, Clayton let it rip.
So a lot of things to get to today. I'm going to talk about trends in the NCAA tournament. First time in recent memory, no mid-majors made the 16. There's no Cinderella. And there's reasons why there's no Cinderella, and we may be losing the Cinderellas for a long, long time. Colorado State almost was. Imagine what a three that kid hit.
That kid is a player.
And again, it didn't matter.
Derek Queen.
Yeah,
Gators fans, get ready for 3 days of learning all about Derek Queen.
But what a shot the Colorado State guy hit.
Oh, yeah.
The good player fired the cross-court pass, the skip pass. What a buzzer beater that would have been.
Right. NBA 3.
If it didn't come before the buzzer beater. But Derek Queen is a very good player. But what a great finish for that game. Maryland's good. They belong in there. We'll certainly talk about that, but trends in the tournament. I am going to look ahead a little bit to the NFL. The Aaron Rodgers thing, I guess now he's going to the Steelers. It's just not confirmed.
I wonder if it's almost like, hey, let's just talk about this after the draft.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Kirk Cousins will be a cautionary tale for these veteran quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to be like, look, until I see what your draft class looks like, I'm not signing. I'm not going to sign here and then have you draft Jackson Dart. And then if I have a bad game in week 3,
he's your quarterback.
All I'm hearing is it's time to go to Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers might be good enough to trump that. But your question, you even asked Pete that question the other day. It's a good question. It's a fair point. Kirk Cousins, one of the most respected guys in the league, he's got a bunch of money, but he's got nowhere to go to play. So it's a fair question.
And he was blindsided.
Yeah, and totally blindsided. So we'll certainly talk about that. The draft, the Jags draft, as we get closer to it now, man, we're a month away. Some thoughts on that. We'll get to that coming up. Got a lot of fun. Spring football off and running. Spring game right around the corner. So we got a lot of stuff to get to. Baseball starts this week. I can't wait. Even though I can't wait for the first of those 74 wins, but I know baseball fans all over are excited. Braves fans are excited. There's a new look Mets, so there's all kind of fun stuff to get to. But today's about the Sweet 16 and the Gator win. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you what I thought of the game. Hazel weigh in what he thought of the game. I thought 6 key plays determine the outcome of the game. I'll tell you what those were. We'll talk more about it after this on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Our world is full of balls and fields and games. It's a fantasy life.
Do you believe in unlikelihood?
Come join the fun.
It is a game.
1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. South State has helped our businesses and charity grow and thrive. Whether you're expanding your operations, managing cash flow, or planning for the future, South State Bank offers forward-thinking, tailored solutions to meet your unique business needs. With expert guidance and best-in-class service, South State is here to help you move your business forward. Visit southstatebank.com or stop by your local branch today. Let South State become your partner in taking your business to the next level. That's South State Bank, member FDIC.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
It's truck season again at Nimnik Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnik. Now available now, the all-new Silverado EV. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. Ask about low-rate financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. And remember, Nimnik will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. Who's got the best Silverados? Nobody but Nimnik. Head to Nimnik today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house. because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in the clinic.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
The 2025 NFL season is right around the corner, and the Jags are building something special. A fresh team, a new culture, and a stadium that's going to change the game. Be there to witness head coach Liam Cohen and the rest of the coaching crew in action and secure your place in line for the stadium of the future with your 2025 season ticket membership. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank this fall.
It's Baloo, and I couldn't see everyone else here at the station lose weight while I'm on the sidelines wishing mine away. I jumped on Awaken 182, and I mean weight loss every week, eating to lose weight, and then receive full support for life. What's not to like? Now, I didn't drop the double digits like Hacker did in week 1, but I'm down 4 pounds. I'll take that any day. The best part, Awaken 180 was actually easier than I expected. I'm not sure what I thought beforehand, but after just day 1, I was already in a groove. Wasn't hungry, more energy, and my coach Patrick is awesome. Gave me a couple of tips since I do sleep in and, of course, stay up late. And I'm off. I'm cruising through week 2 and loving it. You've heard all about Choose Awaken 180, all of us having success with Awaken 180. What do you have to lose? Only weight. Everything else to gain with the solution for weight loss. Reserve your March consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Only 1 month away until Mission Run Good arrives at Best Bet Jacksonville. Get this, 10 tournament events. You ready for this? $500,000 in guarantees, multiple trophies, and rings to be won. That is at Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road. My goodness, they do great work. Mission Run Good. $500,000 in guarantees right around the corner. That is at Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road. 3 great locations of the Best Bet, and always the Best Bet Monday on our program. The Gators win. They move on. They win by 2, but that was a little bit deceiving. There was an 3 at the end. They had a 5-point lead. They almost blew. They missed it. Walter Clayton had an awful foul at the end of the game.
And a bad inbounds.
Yeah, and a bad inbounds. And so at the end of the game. And so they almost messed up a game. They probably should have won by 8 to 10 points at the end, but still a glorious win for the Florida Gator basketball team. There were 6 gigantic plays in my mind. Here's what is perfect. 2 each from all three senior guards. 6. Now, there are more plays. I'm going to give you the 6 in no particular order. Number 1, the 2 threes by Clayton. Those were gigantic. There's not many players in the country that would have nailed both of those in that setting, in that moment, the same spot. The 2 threes, I think that's 2 that really jump off the page. Elijah Martin made 2 gigantic plays, rebounding misses on the foul line. Now, remember this. Florida plays with 3 guards and 2 bigs, okay? So conventional teams play 1 big, 2 forwards who are both 6'8" or better, and 2 guards. So because Florida has 3 guards on the floor at the same time, always, if a big is shooting a free throw, there's only one other big to line up in the free throw rebounding line. So a 6'2" guard, he's their shortest starter, has got to line up in there. So Elijah Martin, when Florida has a big shooting a free throw, has to line up there with all those big guys. He made 2 gigantic plays. One, he jumped up and tapped the ball all the way out, and that wound up going to Clayton, and he drove and got fouled and hit the 2 free throws. The other play, it bounced around, it bounced right to him, and the lane was cleared out, and he had the 1 dribble and the dunk. So 2 big plays by Elijah Martin, both on missed free throws by the Gators. We'll get to the free throws coming up in a bit. But two big plays by Elijah Martin to seal the win, and 2 big plays by Richard. One, on the broken play offensively, where the ball got batted around, it came to him, stepped back and switched to 3. That really was a gigantic play because Florida needed it in the worst way. And then right after that, he tipped the ball away from the UConn guy, and then took off. Condon picked it up and threw the length of the court pass, and Richard dunked it. So Richard, the 3 and the breakaway dunk. Elijah Martin, the 2 offensive rebounds off missed free throws. And Walter Clayton Jr., the 2 big threes. I think those plays are what won the game for the Gators as much as anything. And so always remember those plays. A few other things about the game, Hays. Number 1, obviously, and you've pointed this out all along, their 2 big Achilles heels are turnovers and missed free throws. I think you said right after they won the SEC tournament on that Monday show that you said if they get knocked out of the NCAA tournament, it's going to be turnovers or missed free throws. Well, you got a high assortment of both. They turned the ball over a bunch to start the game, and they missed a bunch of free throws. Part of that was nerves. Golden was interviewed. He said, we're trying to make every play. Early in the game, they were making passes that weren't there. They were the quarterback who's got such a good arm that he tries to squeeze balls into an open receiver when it's not open. That's what they were trying to do. So the missed free throws and the turnovers, and that's going to be their Achilles heel. They're not a good free throw shooting team because Chinyulu and Condon are very bad free throw shooters. The 3 guards are pretty good shooters. Houck's a very good shooter from the free throw line. But those 2 things reared their head. The other thing is a point you made. I thought Danny Hurley had a really good plan. The teams that match up best against Florida are like that UConn team. The teams that match up best against them are physical. They really defend. They push you around, and they play slow and methodical. They walk the ball up court. They take a lot of time off. They try to keep the game in the 60s, and that's exactly what UConn is. They kept saying they tried to turn it into a Big East game, which is a physical game, and I think it was successful. The best thing I thought Golden did, and he didn't stay in it very long, is when he went to that 1-2-2 press, because you don't go to that to turn the other team over. If you turn them over, great, but that's not your expectation. You go to that to slow the play in the back court, to speed them up in the forecourt. You only have 30 seconds on the shot clock. So if it takes 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds to get it across the timeline, well, now you got to hurry. Finally, because Golden did that, UConn started. Did you notice that? UConn started to hurry a little bit. And all of a sudden, Florida had some fast break opportunity. It finally happened. So all the things that could go wrong in a game, give UConn credit. They're good. They're tough. They're a tough defending champion that was not going to go down without a fight, and they battled the whole way. Pretty much outplayed Florida most of the game. But you got to cut the head off the snake. If Florida's the best team going, and they might be the best team going, you got to put them away. You can't leave it. You can't keep it close enough to where Walter Clayton Jr. can beat you in the end, and that's what wound up happening. So those 6 plays, the free throw shooting and turnovers, bugaboo bit him again. I thought Danny Hurley had a great plan, physical, tough, big, push him around a little bit, which is what I thought they did for a large part of that game. But at the end of the day, even after all of that, Florida overcame it. It was a great win. It was the one you had to find a way to win. And now look out Maryland, because That's all out of the system now, I think. I don't think they'll overpass next game and commit the turnovers. They got to shoot free throws better than they did. I think the nerves are gone a little bit. Now, it's another new arena, but I think the nerves are gone a little. They overcame the one game that, quite frankly, they probably should have lost. If you overcome the one game you probably should lose, teams that do that go on to win national championships. It was a glorious day at the end.
Without a doubt, Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard scored 56 of the team's 77 points. That's outstanding. But it does bring up an issue moving forward, which is I thought in Raleigh, both Friday night against Norfolk State and yesterday against UConn, where are the bigs? Where's the passion? Where's the energy with Alex Condon and Chinlelu and Hanlogden? How, to a lesser extent, I thought Houck played pretty well yesterday. But you've brought this up before, and I think it's now becoming, at least this weekend, it proved to be a problem, which is they cannot get designed scoring inside. Anything that those bigs get is a slop fest or an open three.
Yeah, or a putback.
But they don't tend to get, or wide open under the basket,
right,
because the guard makes a fantastic read and pass. Right. But they're not able to really generate much on their own. And so that is something that I think has got to be a big emphasis for Todd Golden this week in this next 48 hours as they have, they prepare for a Thursday night game in San Francisco. But they've got to try and find some way to get a little bit more balance. You can't rely on these three guards to give you 56 points every night out. They might do it because they're a sensational trio, but that's not what you want to just count on. Condon has been great all year scoring, but just had 5 points against UConn in a matchup that I think he should have been better in. I don't expect great offensive numbers from Chinlelu or Hanlogden, but you are hoping for, the offensive rebound and the putback, which didn't come yesterday. Hanlogden was 0 for 3 from the field. Chinlelu had a couple of baskets, but that was really it. And Houck had 7 points. So that's a concern because I kind of thought coming out of the SEC tournament that you were seeing the evolution of a championship team going from being guard reliant to really the front court being the separator. We talked about it. Todd Golden mentioned it last week prior to leaving for Raleigh, that he thought as good as our guards are, it's our front court that's the separator. Well, it wasn't in either game because I thought Norfolk State really drove the ball well against Florida with little resistance. I kept waiting for a block or some sort of physical play out of the four big guys. Never really saw it in a 1 versus 16, which was a surprise. So I was really expecting, one of the reasons I was really confident yesterday is I really thought Condon would play great. I thought you'd see, Houck play very well, and I thought Hanlogden and Chinlelu would do at least enough to contribute to what would be a very handsome combined total points, reboundings, blocks, all that stuff. It really didn't happen. I mean, I thought UConn was the tougher team in the interior. So I think that's, that is a concern moving forward. Now, again, it's good to have four guys that you don't need all four of them to play well. But I was surprised because I didn't really feel like any of the four played particularly well yesterday or Friday night.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Friday night was weird. They got out to a 32-point lead and fell asleep. That's what happened Friday night. Yesterday, they got outplayed up front by tougher, more physical front court players. That's what happened. They got out. So I agree with you. I think they did. Look, the big guys will do enough. I thought Condon played tough down the stretch. Houck made some free throws. But if they win the national championship, it's with those guards. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be with those guards. So now, the good that comes out of that is you survived it. I watched a little bit of the Maryland game. I had not seen a lot of them before that, but now everyone's trying to become an expert on Maryland, right? I don't think they'll find anybody else that plays them as tough and physically as UConn did up front. They may be better players. Maryland's got two big, Queen's really good, and the Reese kid, Angel Reese's brother, I guess that's how he's known as Angel Reese's brother. But they're both good front court. They're 6'10" and 6'9", and they're both 250 plus. But I don't think they're deep there. I don't think they play a lot of guys. UConn played a lot of guys, but you had to get through the game. I think if Florida had played UConn in the middle of January in Gainesville, it wouldn't have looked like that. I thought they were tense. I thought when you overpass, you're tense. I think when you get pushed around a little bit, I think they were worried about fouls. I think the one guy who's not going to get pushed around if he can stay out of foul trouble is Chinyelu. He's not going to get pushed around. I thought he stood his ground some yesterday. He just was in foul trouble the whole time. Yeah. So I thought so. So we'll see. But the bottom line is they got over that. You had to get off the schneid, man. Friday didn't count. So when you're a 1 seed, one thing that goes against you is usually the first game is so easy that you're not ready for a battle. UConn had a battle with Oklahoma. They were ready for a battle, man. They just had one, and so they were ready for the next fight. And I thought that affected Florida a little bit too. But hey, win and move on. There's 16 teams now. You're one of the 16. You can exhale a little bit. There's not much time to rest. My guess is you get to. I'm going to try and get Chris Harry on the phone tomorrow, I think, as they travel. But my guess is tomorrow's the travel day.
Yeah.
My guess is you're home. You got home late last night. You probably had today to relax and catch your breath. I think tomorrow you're on a plane headed to San Francisco. I can't imagine that they would fly Wednesday and play Thursday in San Francisco.
I can't imagine. Maryland is staying out there because their pod was in Seattle.
Right.
So they went from Seattle, I think, straight to San Francisco.
Which would make sense.
It does make sense, but it does add an intangible to the game that you like. Does that? I would think that helps Florida.
Yeah. Because
Maryland's going to be gone so long away from their facilities.
Right.
So how does that affect their just routine? At least Florida got, and I would think Florida got back at a relatively normal time last night. So Florida probably had a pretty regular Sunday evening. They'll have a completely regular Monday to get treatment in the facility, get whatever weight lifting they need there. Their film work can be there where they're accustomed to it. And then you would fly out Tuesday and then have your walkthrough Wednesday, play Thursday. But so it's not much time at home. But I do think that that's beneficial as opposed to being out there. And the other thing, we're going to talk about this a lot on Maryland as we preview this game, but this is extraordinary to me. You talked about their lack of depth. They only play 5 guys, basically.
Right.
I mean, their 5 starters average at least 28 minutes. It was even more lopsided in the win over Colorado State. Like, they basically have 2 bench guys, and even those 2 bench guys really don't play. So the light that immediately goes off in your head is, well, if Florida can get them into foul trouble, they have no chance. The problem is Maryland has been outstanding at not fouling. They've only had 6 disqualifications all year. That's actually less than Florida. Florida's had 7, and Florida's got a really deep team. So it speaks to how well Maryland plays together. And they only were called for 7 fouls against Colorado State for the entire game. So they're not deep, which subjects them to serious foul trouble. But to their credit, at least to this point, through 35 games, they've done a very nice job of not fouling. Yep. But that's got to be at the top of Todd Golden's list. And that's why these bigs for Florida are going to decide this game probably. Because if Condon and Houck and Hand-Logden and Chinyelu can get them into foul trouble, they have nothing behind their starting 5.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about Maryland. Maryland's good now. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. The only loss was a Michigan buzzer beater for the Big Ten title. But in fairness, they got outplayed a lot of that game yesterday. Now because I was scouting. Okay, I had a scouting assignment yesterday.
I was too. Yeah.
So they got outplayed by Colorado State.
They played a 13 seed and a 12 seed.
Yeah.
So to your point about being battle tested.
Yeah.
And the game battle tested them because of needing the buzzer beater to beat Colorado State.
But they played a 13 and a 12.
But they've yet to see the fastball.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll take a break. What is the tournament? I want to stay on the tournament. What have we learned from the NCAA tournament? What trends are there? I got a lot of thoughts about this. I'm not sure they're all good. It comes up next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Now he's going to run. It's a draw. He's across the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
I'm Mark Brunell on 1010XL.
Home of the Jaguars.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas, build a protective barrier around your yard, and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those pests ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
One thing that separates Beard's Diamonds from those other jewelry stores at the town center, no one's paid on commission.
Nobody at Beard's is on commission. That's more of your corporate stores that pay commission.
Beard's owner, John Lupo, says that means no pressure, no hidden agenda, no extra markups.
And you're getting a better deal. You're not paying the corporate commission. You're not paying the salesperson's commission. But if they're paying their salespeople commission, you're starting off in the hole.
And that's why you feel like a number at most jewelry stores, because it's all about making the sale, but not at Beard's.
Because it's a corporate atmosphere and they want to sell you what they want to sell you. We're here to sell you what you want. Our salespeople can do whatever they want to make sure that the customer is happy.
So relax. At Beard's Diamonds, they have all the things you want, like quality education, selection, warranties, and none of the stuff you don't want, like pressure and tacked on commissions.
Nobody's making an extra 5 or 10% on Beard's customers.
Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler.
We sell better merchandise, better product for less money, guaranteed.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary vocalist Jeff Tate. Known for his iconic work with Queensryche, Jeff Tate brings his unforgettable sound to the Florida Theater for one night only.
A round-trip journey in your head.
Witness the hit album Operation Mindcrime, performed in its entirety for the final time. Jeff Tate, Operation Mindcrime, April 3rd at Florida Theater. Tickets at floridatheater.com.
Mia here. Getting more is great, and that's what makes this sale so great. It's a sale on top of a sale, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Get $0 down at just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, Tacoma for $0 down and $388 per month. You can even choose no payments till July 2025. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Soccer continues to grow on the First Coast, and so does the need for better coverage. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley
on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Go to WM.com/Duval.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean. Zero Res.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon with you. High hands and uncapped bad beat jackpots at all Best Bet locations. Now, don't miss out on $1,000 high hands on Fridays, $500 high hands on Saturdays. That's every 30 minutes from 6 to midnight at all three of those great Best Bet locations. Now, that's St. Augustine. That's the newest one, just off of I-95. Monument Road is Jacksonville location. Of course, the Orange Park location on US 17. Man, we love the Best Bet. What a good time people have at the Best Bet. Head to the Best Bet if you get an opportunity to. Frangie and Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you today. We talk an NCAA tournament. One more segment to talk just tournament for a second. Here's the distressing part. It's the first time in years, if not ever, that the Sweet 16 has had no mid-major teams. All 16 teams are from the four high major conferences. And only one from the ACC is Duke, but still all four from the high. 7 from the SEC, which is dominant, but the Big 10 and the Big 12 have their share. I think Cinderella might be gone forever. Now, that doesn't mean one won't slip in, but I think the regularity of because here's what happens now. You can't build a mid-major program because if your player's any good, he's gone. Yeah, I mean, if your player's any good at all, he's gone. The big schools will snap him up. If you watch all these teams, just about every good player was somewhere else last year. It's amazing how many of them were almost somewhere else last year. And what about the coaches? Sean Miller Xavier just went to Texas. Ben McCollum at Drake just went to Iowa. Medvid, the coach of Colorado State, just went to Minnesota. Will Wade just went to NC State.
The pioneer.
So, but my point is, you not only can't keep good coaches or good players at these mid-major schools anymore. So I honest to God, I think the days of Cinderella, not that it won't ever happen every once in a while, but for the most part, I think it's over. I mean, even last year, the only teams that get there were Gonzaga and San Diego State. Well, Gonzaga's not really a Cinderella, all right? So I think that's one of the charms of the tournament. Now, Colorado State almost got there, and they would have been one. But one of the charms of the tournament are these teams getting there. I mean, just a few years ago, San Diego State and FAU were both in the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, George Mason had that Final Four run, right. Florida's first title year, and the Gators eliminated them in the national semifinal. But, yeah, I agree. It definitely is part of the charm of the tournament.
In 2023, it was just 2 years ago, Florida Atlantic was a real Cinderella.
It would still have their 3 best players this year if they didn't all transfer.
And their coach. So since then, to your point, Michigan got Dusty May, the coach, and Vlad Golden, the center. The Gators got Elijah Martin. Arkansas got John L. Davis. There's 3 really good players. If those 3 players and this coach were on the same, they might be back in the Final Four, but they're all gone. And again, I don't know who to be mad at because it's just the way the world is. I'm not mad. I'm glad the team I root for is a Power 4 school and one with a bunch of money. But the reality is there's no more Cinderella. The lowest seeded team in the Sweet 16 is Arkansas.
Yeah, and they don't count as a
They
Cinderella.
got John Calipari, and they got apparently the biggest NIL.
And tons of cash.
Yeah, apparently they have more basketball money invested than anybody.
Yeah.
And there are 10. So I just think I think it's kind of sad that day's over.
Yeah, somebody, and forgive me, it might have been Seth Davis, I can't remember, but tweeted out that the stat's a little misleading on the conferences because like BYU and Houston, and there was a third.
That's a good point.
They would have been they sort of blamed it on conference expansion.
Yeah.
That when these conferences expanded, and the Big 12 particularly took on some good basketball schools like BYU, Houston. So the kind of the point was, well, with these big conferences expanding, that's what's led to a smaller group of conferences in the Sweet 16. But yeah, I mean, your point is dead on because, I mean, look, we know how it is. I mean, look at 10 years ago, Chaz Lanier probably finishes his career at UNF as an Osprey.
Right.
But in this day and age, a player like that is going to get offered money that a smaller school just can't possibly compete with.
Correct.
I mean, and that happens everywhere. So to be a Cinderella at a school, that's in a mid-major conference, you're basically going to need the right recipe of, okay, because what you're going to take on are the cast-offs from the big schools that, the Floridas and the Illinois and the Dukes and the Kansases said, you can't play here. You're not good enough to play here. So those players go down to the lower level.
Right.
And so perhaps there'll be a coach that's able to harness the right 3 or 4 guys that were cast-offs, but really, are able to blossom in a smaller environment. And maybe that's how you start to see it happen. But it's like anything. It's the college realm is very much like Major League Baseball now, where it's the teams that spend are going to have a much greater chance of having spectacular championship level seasons. I mean, look at, again, we talk about Derek Queen, the outstanding freshman for Maryland. He's in his post-game press conference. He's from Baltimore, is asked, why'd you go to Maryland? Because Maryland's had some success, but they haven't been to the Sweet 16 in over a decade. So, and they've got a coach in Kevin Willard who's in his 3rd year. He's not exactly a star in the sport. And they were like, why do you guys listen to Kevin Willard? What's made him connect with you guys? And Derek Queen laughs and says, he paid us the money.
Yeah. That's right.
Which drew a huge laugh in the room. And look, it's the environment that we're in. I don't think Kevin Willard really loved that. That's what he said. But but it's just so if you've got 60 to 80 programs that are willing to spend millions of dollars on their roster, what chance do you have if you're a mid-major school that the most you can probably offer a kid is $50,000? You can't compete.
And 100%. And you can't keep your coach. I mean, everyone said, why, after all these years of being a Midland basketball conference, if that, all these years of being a middle of the pack, disappointing basketball conference, all the money, all the power, all the schools, but they're all football schools. Why has the SEC suddenly become this dominant? And by the way, the people say, well, you had 14 teams and you should have got 7 in the Sweet 16. No, there's numbers. The Big East had the record with 11 teams. They got 2 in the Sweet 16. Other teams have had 8 and gotten 1 in the Sweet 16. So having 7 in the Sweet 16 is pretty amazing stuff. Well, here's why. John Calipari and Rick Barnes and Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates and Chris Beard were really good coaches before they got there. Obviously, Mark Pope and Todd Golden look like they're going to be very good coaches, but Barnes and Pearl and Oates and Cal and Chris Beard, they had their stripes beforehand, so these SEC schools just went and got them and paying them a bunch of money. Well, even the other Power Fours aren't going to be able to continue to compete with that. Kelvin Sampson is at Houston because he was at Oklahoma and Indiana, and he got fired at Indiana for improprieties. Well, it's harder for him to land something. That's why he's at Houston. Otherwise, Sean Miller, he got in all kind of trouble at Arizona, forced to go back to Xavier where he started his career, and the minute they get good, he goes right back to Texas. That didn't last a blink of an eye, did it? I got the impression when Sean Miller, who went to Xavier, who was good, I have had him on the radio show. He's a funny guy, got the Arizona job, and was at the top of the mountain, and then he was involved in that FBI investigation and all that, and he got run out because of it. So Xavier says, listen, we'll take you back. I mean, you're the best coach we've ever had. So Xavier takes him back. You thought that was okay. You know what? That was a remarriage, a reunion. The minute Texas calls, he's gone. And I'm not blaming him.
Right.
But that's the world we're in.
I'm sure he's getting 250% of his salary to make that move to Texas.
Yeah,
I mean, Xavier's just a small private school in Cincinnati. I mean, so, I think that the other thing, too, that it's kind of funny and ironic in my opinion, because it's almost like the SEC was too stupid to figure out collectively that, unlike football, where you've got to pay the quarterback, the running back, the offensive tackle, the defensive tackle, the edge, the corner, you got the linebacker.
Right.
All those guys have to be paid big money.
Right.
Well, in basketball, you pay like 4 guys.
That's exactly right.
You've got a juggernaut basketball team.
That's exactly right. And so now the SEC will be dominant. Big Ten will too, because they've got the big money too. But it's just, I will miss Cinderella. I mean, number one, every Gator fan in the world wanted Colorado State to win that game for the obvious reason. But beyond that, I think the basketball fans all wanted it because it was the last chance you had to have a real Cinderella. It was the last crack at it.
There's not going to be any charm in the Sweet 16.
No.
There will be some fantastic basketball matchups.
Right.
But in terms of the charm, think about just the West region. You thought you might get Patino and St. John's.
Right.
They're a 2 seed.
But the ultimate
But
charm.
it would have been the ultimate charm story.
Yeah.
Where everybody in the building would have been pulling for St. John's.
They're out.
You don't get Colorado State, which would have been a team that the public, the sports fan in San Fran, who doesn't have an allegiance to Florida or Maryland or Arkansas, is probably like, oh wow, yeah, I'm gonna pull for Colorado State. You know, why wouldn't I? So all that's out, and you look around the other regions, and it is heavyweight versus heavyweight.
That's
I mean, it's an outstanding. I mean, that's the give and take. The Cinderella story isn't there. But look at these matchups that we're going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
4 games each night for Thursday, Friday.
Whoever wins this national championship will have earned it. I mean, even Duke, who, I think their path has been pretty easy so far. Well, now you're getting ready to play Arizona and probably Alabama. So if Duke makes it to San Antonio, they will have earned it. And you can certainly say that about what Houston, Florida, and Auburn are having to face.
Yeah, and I will say this too. If Alabama can beat Duke, and they can.
Absolutely, they can beat Duke.
If Alabama can, because they
can score 105 on anybody.
And Duke plays like that. Now, Duke's so good they play anyway. They're probably but they run and play. They're not like Houston, who's going to lock you down and defend you like UConn tried to do. Duke wants to run up and down the floor. Well, Alabama's dangerous if you let them do that. They're dangerous. So, but if Alabama beats Duke, there's a real chance it's 4 SEC teams.
Right.
I mean, think about this.
Well, in the Midwest, you're guaranteed in a regional finalist.
That's right.
With Tennessee and Kentucky playing.
That's right. So you have a pretty good chance that Tennessee and Kentucky, one of them are going to get there. So Auburn is probably going to win their region. They're the best team in it. I still believe Florida is the best team in it. I think they're going to win that region. So Florida and Auburn, if the 2 1 seeds hold serve, Alabama, and I'm not saying Houston's not a good team. They're a very good team. But Tennessee is battle-tested as they are against – I think Tennessee's going to be – even though Kentucky beat them twice, I think Tennessee's going to beat Kentucky. Is battle-tested as – you could have – if Alabama beats Duke, can you imagine – you think people hate the SEC now?
Right.
Talk about all the "it means more" memes out there.
Well, and it's not far-fetched because if that's the Final Four, it's 2 1s and 2 2s.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, but I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if now – usually there's a fly in the ointment somewhere, but I would not be surprised if that's what we want.
And who knows if, what happens, maybe Arkansas can do it. I mean, Arkansas looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe Ole Miss can do. I mean, it's not like the SEC only has these 4. They also, we'll say 5 with Kentucky.
Yeah.
But who knows what Ole Miss or what Arkansas could do.
Good point, because they're tested by going through that league. Florida beats Maryland. Who do you want to play?
Arkansas.
I'm close, man. Maybe I'll probably land there, but they're playing great right now, and Cal's been there. And
I don't think Cal is a particularly strong coach.
Yeah, but
there's an aura to him. I get that.
Yes, he may not.
He's
be
a star.
He may not be the tactician.
Yeah,
but there's something about him. I don't know. I
just think for Florida, granted it was like one of the first SEC games of the season, but I think having beaten Arkansas in Arkansas, it'd be hard for me to not want them over a Texas Tech team that was, I think, kind of underseeded as a 3, because when you look at the metrics, they were sort of top 10.
Yeah.
But in looking at it, I think Texas Tech's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'd rather play Arkansas, but look.
But logic says that.
The Arkansas-Kansas game was a high level.
Yeah.
That was not a 7-10 game.
Right.
That felt like a Sweet 16 game. Arkansas won it. And then, look, Arkansas was able to take out St. John's and do it in relatively comfortable fashion.
And the thing that concerns me about Arkansas is they've got all those Kentucky guys. Well, those Kentucky guys were used to being recruited. They were 5-star. They were McDonald's guys, man. So there's no pressure for those guys. They played at Kentucky. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a break. Let's get to some football and other topics after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL.
We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. You hear about guarantees and warranties. What is Underwood's policy?
Frank, to talk about guarantees and warranties, you have to look at our history of over 70 years in business. Underwood's entire reason for existence is and has been to offer fine products that will be used with such satisfaction that both the giver and the receiver will want to come back. And hopefully they'll tell their friends about us. To do this means we've got to try our hardest to satisfy every customer. All of our people understand that. Now, I'm sure over the years we've made a few mistakes, but we've never failed to make good on any Underwood product that was returned with a legitimate customer complaint. Our entire reputation would mean nothing if we didn't conduct ourselves that way. Simply put, conducting our business with integrity is a lot more important to Underwoods and our customers than all the guarantees, warranties, and contrived legal obligations in the world. And you've got Underwood's word, my word, and all of our people's word on that.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Florida homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contractors protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Spend $6,000 and get up to $600 off. $15,000 up to $2,000 off. $20,000 up to $3,000 off. This deal ends March 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
ET here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
E.T. here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass, April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
I'm Max Finke with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by TopDressing.com. Tomorrow, a big-time rivalry is going down on the Diamond, as Florida and Florida State baseball will square off right here in Jacksonville at the VyStar Ballpark. So Tuesday, March 25th. Gator Bowl Sports announced that the fan favorite event is now sold out for fans attending the game. This information will be helpful for navigating parking and ballpark entry. Prepaid parking is on sale for $10 per space and available through the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl offices. To purchase, call 904-798-5999. Game day parking is available in Lot J and Lot P. Both lots are cashless and accept credit card payments only. Gates will open with staggered timing, allowing fans to partake in batting practices. Home plate gate will open at 3:30 p.m. and all remaining ballpark gates open at 4:30. First pitch is scheduled for 6:30. It's 77 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
All right, head down to St. Augustine. Lucky Seat Thursdays at Best Bet St. Augustine are from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's every Thursday. $100 giveaways. You ready for this? Every 20 minutes. There's all kind of great deals going on. That's Best Bet St. Augustine. And, of course, there's Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road and Best Bet Orange Park on US 17. Frangie and Carlyon with you. JJ LaSelva here as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. JJ, did you eat your Bonos? Was it good?
I'm about halfway through. I'm saving this.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was delicious. Thank you, Bonos, and thank you, Frank.
Okay. Did you eat yours?
I've had a little bit.
I've nibbled. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I've had a little bit. I've got probably about a good, 2/3 left,
Yeah,
but it was delicious. Thank you.
I was
and
the big
thank you,
loser.
Ray.
I was the big loser. Ray's wonderful. I was the big loser.
Ray's got to be fired up about these Gators.
He first thing he said to me when I texted him last week,
Yeah.
he goes, "Hey, we got to extend Golden." That's the
Absolutely.
First thing he said.
Lifetime contract.
So let's get to some football topics. All right. Cam Ward's going to the Titans, isn't he?
How could you not?
Yeah,
pick him?
he's going to. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to the Titans now. So I thought because they had Levis, they would get. But he's, and I don't know what you do or don't do with Levis, but Cam Ward's going to the Titans. It's now. It almost seems too clear now.
Yeah, I mean, unless they just. Again, it's a new GM in Borgonzi. Maybe he wants to do the big trade and move back to 3 with the Giants, and that would make some sense, and pick up a treasure trove of picks from the Giants that probably will be very high picks. So if you can get that 26 first rounder from New York, which you have to think would be included in that deal, well, that could be a top 3 pick. It might be the number 1 pick in the 26th draft. So, that would be something. And then obviously you're giving up Ward and possibly Shedeur Sanders, but you're getting a bunch of draft capital. You're getting Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
So that would be the only way that I think it would make some sense for them. But I think Cam Ward is shown enough that if I was Tennessee, I would pick Cam Ward. I think what you have in Levis. Levis is a good athlete. I don't think he has any idea. He's sort of, to me, in the same. Richardson is a much better athlete than Will Levis, but they're sort of the same kind of player. They rely on their athleticism. They don't have a great feel for the position, and the mistakes that they make are just killer mistakes in terms of winning games on Sunday. So if I was Tennessee, I would take Cam Ward, hope he's a superstar at 1, and then Levis is your backup, and that's how you go about your business. But we'll see. But I'm with you. I just don't see, if you're the Titans, unless you just get some really sweet offer to trade out of there, I don't see how you can just take Abdul Carter at 1 and say, I'm comfortable with Will Levis starting another season for us.
My guess is I'm now convinced the Titans stay there and take Cam Ward. I don't think they trade out. I think they stay there and take Cam Ward. I'm also, and Pete Prisco said this to us on Friday, and I think he's right, history tells us that even in a weaker core of quarterbacks, the quarterbacks do move up. I think Shedeur Sanders goes up there too. I think he's right. Whether it's Cleveland at 2 or the Giants at 3 or a little bit of moving around, maneuvering, I do. I think so. I think Cam Ward's going to the Titans. I think Shedeur Sanders might go to the Browns. If not the Browns, the Giants. So I think they're both going up there. I really do. I do think the general belief is foot injury or whatever it was, that there's a general a consensus belief that Abdul Carter's the best player in the draft and certainly the best non-quarterback value in the draft. So I think he's going to the top 3. So I'm now pretty convinced that we're going to get to 4, and Travis Hunter and Mason Graham and Will Campbell and whoever else, Ted McMillan, if he runs, if people believe what he ran, are all still in play. I think there's a chance Travis Hunter is there. Now, if you asked me to guess, I'd say no. He's too good a player. He's too good a player for the Patriots to pass. He's just too good a player. But I'm not convinced of that. I now think we are going to get to pick 4, and Travis Hunter's on the board. He's so good and so committed to football, and that I can't imagine him getting past there. But I guess where I'm going with this is, if all along you've been pining for Mason Graham, which I probably have been a little bit, yet all along you and I did this show, what do you do if Travis Hunter's there? Where you pull a hamstring racing the card up, as you like to say. I'm convinced they're both there. I'm sorry. I'm convinced they're both there at 4, which means one of them's there at 5. So all of a sudden, where I wasn't sure, I'm sure now. Agree or disagree?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure on Sanders?
Well, no, I'm not sure that the Patriots would take Will Campbell over Travis Hunter.
No, I'm not either. Let me rephrase it. I feel like Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Abdul Carter are going to be the first 3 picks.
I would agree.
So now I'm confident that Travis Hunter and Mason Graham are going to be there at 4 and 5.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, I'm more confident than I've been that that's where we are.
I would agree with that. The thing about these quarterbacks, too, is, teams may not be enamored with Shedeur Sanders. He may not stack up as well if he was in last year's quarterback class. But he isn't. Right. He's in this quarterback class.
Right.
And these teams with this changed like 15 years ago with the CBA in 2011. But you're not handing these guys Sam Bradford crazy money now like you were when you were handing Sam Bradford coming out of Oklahoma $60 million in guaranteed money, which at the time was an astronomical amount of money to hand a kid that had never put on an NFL jersey.
That's right.
Let alone like these contracts now, even at the top, they're for a quarterback when the top guys at that position are making 50, 55 million per year. I think Dak Prescott is around 60, something like that. I mean, so even if you're a general manager that isn't quite sure, it's still worth the risk to take that player, because if you hit on Shedeur Sanders, you've got him under a very cheap contract compared to his colleagues for a minimum of 3 years. And even then, it's up to you to extend him at that point. He could play a 4th year. You can pick up the 5th year option. You can tag him. It's really 6 years of pretty much team control over the player at a very reasonable cost compared to the alternative route of, okay, well, we've got to go trade for Kirk Cousins, or we've got to go sign an Aaron Rodgers. Well, even at a discount, those players are going to command $30 million a year at a minimum. These rookies, even in the top 3, aren't even remotely close to that. So from a building your roster, a cap standpoint, the risk in missing isn't as big as it used to be because of the financial commitment. Now, if he takes Shedeur Sanders at 3, and you get a couple years in and he's not what you want, it's disappointing, but you just draft another quarterback. I mean, you just move on. And so that's why I think that the Cleveland or the Giants, what are they going to do? Are the New York Football Giants, whose fans have been on a waiting list to get season tickets for generations, these tickets are passed down in wills. That's the New York Giants fan base. They're going to look their fan base in the eye, who has suffered greatly over these last 10, 15 years since Tom Coughlin was there winning championships, and they're going to say to their fan base, give us a bunch of money to watch Jameis Winston play quarterback for us?
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the best point. And there's still a chance that Cleveland will never let them get the chance anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the possibility exists. The Cleveland has they have no idea what they're doing either.
Why would you not take Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson will never do anything in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
So
never.
So anyway, having said all that, I'm convinced they're both going. I'm convinced and I am convinced Abdul Carter. I think he's going 3. Hunter is so good that is it possible that if Ward goes 1 and Sanders goes 2, that Hunter could jump Abdul Carter? It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it's possible. But I think there's a very, very – all of this, by the way, I don't think Hunter's there at 5. I just don't. But I now think there's a chance he is, and Mason Graham definitely is.
I just don't think everybody hopes the Patriots are desperate enough to overreach and take Will Campbell at 4. I say overreach. None of us know until these guys get out there and start playing. But it feels like – on paper, taking Will Campbell at 4 is a bit of an overreach. Now the Patriots could trade out, and then if somebody's coming up, they're coming up to get Travis Hunter. But if I was New England, I would take Travis Hunter at 4. I'm assuming again, Abdul Carter's gone and 2 quarterbacks go. If I'm New England, I'm taking Travis Hunter at 4 because I think he helps you on both sides of the ball. And look, I get it; it's not a great offensive tackle class. But you still, you're going to be hard to convince me that New England, if they waited until the 2nd round and maybe invested in the position again in the 3rd round, 4th round, wherever, that New England can't improve their offensive line in this draft. It's to me, it doesn't make sense that unless they've got to take a guy at 4 or they can't improve their offensive line. I think they can do that. I would take Hunter at 4. Because I think he's got the best chance of being just
a star.
An elite player.
Yeah, you still make no mistake about this. You still win with stars,
without a doubt.
You have to have foundation. You have to have toughness. You have to have physicality. But as great as those 2 outstanding offensive and defensive lines were for the Philadelphia Eagles, they have Saquon Barkley. They have Jalen Hurts, who's evolving into a star. They've got 2 star receivers. Make no mistake about this. We all went on, and I probably led the charge about how they won because of their lines and their physicality, and I still believe that. but you got to have stars. You got to find stars. We'll take a break. Hayes has headlines after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Your home for Florida Gators baseball is 1010XL.
It's the Florida Sunshine Showdown at the baseball grounds of Jacksonville. Florida State on the diamond. Catch every pitch starting at 6 tomorrow on 1010 a.m.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here. It's truck season again at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. So shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership on Cassett Avenue. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Your hole-in-one for men's health is Ackerman Urology. With offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, World Golf Village, and the beaches, Ackerman will get you on par for any prostate conditions and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
The month of March makes us mad.
This is mass madness, you maniacs!
And we love it.
Got a three!
Experience the madness with 1010XL.
Served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
It's Blue, and I couldn't see everyone else here at the station lose weight while I'm on the sidelines wishing mine away. I jumped on Awaken 182, and I mean weight loss every week, eating to lose weight, and then receive full support for life. What's not to like? Now, I didn't drop the double digits like Hacker did in week 1, but I'm down 4 pounds. I'll take that any day. The best part, Awaken 180 was actually easier than I expected. I'm not sure what I thought beforehand, but after just day 1, I was already in a groove. Wasn't hungry, more energy, and my coach Patrick is awesome. Gave me a couple of tips since I do sleep in and, of course, stay up late. And I'm off. I'm cruising through week 2 and loving it. You've heard all about Choose Awaken 180, all of us having success with Awaken 180. What do you have to lose? Only weight. Everything else to gain with the solution for weight loss. Reserve your March consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Listen up, poker players. March is heating up at all 3 Best Bet locations. The Bad Beat jackpots are now uncapped, soaring to new heights. So don't miss your chance to win big. Plus, get in on the $42,000 weekend windfall, featuring $1,000 high hands every Friday and $500 high hands on Saturdays. And starting March 3rd, the Race to a Race promotion is back. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Joe C. for Florida Home AC, and now's the time to tune up that heating and AC unit. Take advantage of their $69 seasonal tune-up special. Keep warm in the winter and cool in the summer with Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer?
cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Oh, you better believe Holt Harrell is fired up about this basketball team. It's been a lot of fun, this Gators ride, and that is where we start, Frank. The Gators cruise past Norfolk State on Friday night before surviving a major scare against UConn. 77-75 on Sunday in Raleigh. Walter Clayton Jr. rescued the Gators with a 13-point scoring surge in the final 9 minutes, finishing with 23 points. The Gators improved to 32-4 and ended UConn's bid for a three-peat.
Yeah, I thought Walter Clayton Jr. cemented himself as one of the greatest Gators of all time, if some people didn't believe he was there. Those 2 threes he hit down the stretch, contested both times, off balance both times, but he got his shoulders square and swished them both. Maybe one grazed the rim a little bit. Two daggers, I thought. Great win, and I think it's a win that'll really help them moving forward. You have to win that one hard game and find a way to win it, and it almost buoys you, Hays. You almost gain strength from still being alive after one of those games. We've seen it so many times with not just Florida teams, but other teams. I like when they're positioned, got outplayed, got out-toughed for much of the game, and found a way to be tough enough to win it down the stretch.
Without a doubt, the Gators will move on to face 4th-seeded Maryland at 7:39 on Thursday night in San Francisco. The Terrapins survived Colorado State's upset bid with a buzzer beater by freshman star Derek Queen. Maryland is 27-8 this season.
Yeah, Maryland's got a good team. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. The only loss was 81-80. They lost on a buzzer beater to Michigan in the Big Ten tournament to win the Big Ten tournament. I think Maryland's got a good team. They're not deep. Their best player is a freshman. The Gators have a lot of front court players. I think they will try and run with the Gators, which I think is a mistake. UConn didn't do that. Teams that try to run with Florida, ask Alabama how that worked out. I like where Florida sits in this game. I really do. You found a way to survive. I think they're a 4 or 5 point favorite. I think they're better than Maryland. I think they're going to beat Maryland.
UF assistant coach Kevin Hovde has been hired as the new coach at Columbia. That's 2 of Todd Golden's assistants leaving for head coaching opportunities, but both are staying with the Gators through this tourney run.
Yeah, and I think Carlin Hartman, the big man coach, is also in play for some jobs. So they could lose. They've already lost 2 from the staff, could lose a 3rd from the staff, but he'll replace that. College basketball is still about the head coach, and I think they'll be okay. But good for those guys. Those guys have earned it. Look, this Florida run has earned Walter Clayton Jr. a bunch of money in the NBA. I think it's earned Alex Condon money in the NBA. It's earned assistant coaches some jobs. It's earned Todd Golden, no doubt, an extension. A lot of people benefited from what this year's been.
Without a doubt. Let's get it to just around the NCAA tournament for some storylines, and we'll start with, Frank, what madness. For the first time since 2017, all the teams seeded 1 through 4 survived the opening game, the 6th time overall since the tournament expanded in 1985 that has happened.
Yeah, I think what we talked about earlier in the program, Hays, I think there's going to be fewer Cinderellas, fewer upsets. Even the really good players from mid-majors wind up at high majors. I think that's what's going to happen. The really good coaches at mid-majors, 4 of them already have moved on to high majors. I think the drama, the Cinderella stories are going to be fewer and fewer as the years go on. I really do.
The SEC is showing its might in the tournament, advancing a record 7 teams to the Sweet 16. Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. The Vols and Wildcats will meet in a heated Sweet 16 game in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're rivals, big rivals. Kentucky beat them twice during the regular season. I think Tennessee's going to win this, but know this. Those Kentucky fans are right around they travel great, and Indianapolis is right there. It's about, from Lexington, what do you figure, 3-4 hour drive?
Yeah,
if that.
They're there now. They're already there.
They are already there. So it's going to be a road game for Tennessee. I don't think there's any question about that. And, that'll be a fun one to watch for sure.
The St. John's Rick Pitino joyride that we have all enjoyed ended in the round of 32 as the second-seeded Red Storm were upset by 10-seed Arkansas, 75-66. St. John's was the only team seeded 1 or 2 to not advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and I will tell you, the only one, and I'll tell you this, I love Rick Pitino. I love rooting for Pitino. But when he benched his best player for the last 5 minutes of the game, I didn't like that. I mean, that's overcoaching. That's who's the toughest guy in the room. And then when a media guy asked him why he benched him, he goes, his name was Roger. Roger, you know why he didn't play. Well, maybe Roger did, but I don't. And I thought that was, look, he wasn't playing very well. But to bench him for the rest of the game, I still don't know. Did he pop off? Did he say something? Weird ending for Pitino's St. John's.
It really was strange, and it seemed like Luis wasn't doing much on the defensive end, which was what was bothering Pitino. But still, it's like you're down 10, and the commentators even, were saying this, like, your best chance here is for him to get hot.
Because you're not a good shooting team anyway. Yeah.
Right. So, it was very puzzling that is it may not have mattered, but look, even if it's just, a 1 in 100 that he gets hot and hits 2 or 3 threes in a row, that's better than no chance, which is what it seemed like St. John's had. Yeah, I thought that was very odd indeed. Let's get it to our Loser Monday update.
Why do we have to do that?
Yeah, loses by a game in a contest where we all kind of stunk. JJ and I were 33-15, while Frank was 32-16. Is there anybody that you're particularly blaming for this?
I will never root for Missouri again, ever.
Okay.
Not that I really rooted for him all that much beforehand. I think I went wrong. You know where else I went wrong? You guys both had Michigan beating Texas A&M. I had no. I think about you. You had A&M.
I think we all had A&M. Did
we? Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. First, I'll never root for Missouri again.
Yeah.
You had Liberty. I didn't have.
Yeah, I had Liberty. You and I both had Liberty. JJ gained us on that one.
Where'd I go bad here? I'm trying to think. I had Wisconsin moving on. We all had that, right?
Yeah, you did. That didn't hurt you.
Clemson, I had winning twice.
Okay, I had Purdue.
Okay, well, I hate Clemson.
Okay.
And I hate you.
Yeah. Well,
okay, so that's all I got. That's all I got. So
okay.
I'm very angry about my one game loss.
Yeah.
Alrighty. But the food was good.
Yeah, the food was great. Thank you to Ray and Bonos, and so it's we move on to the Final Four next week. We'll commence another Loser Monday. Let's get it to the NFL. Jameis Winston signs with the Giants. This happened just after we went off the air on Friday, but intriguing. 2 years, $8 million. Certainly not starter-level money, which leads you to believe the Giants probably are still looking at filling the starting Week 1 quarterback role with somebody in the draft.
Yeah, well, and here's the deal. If Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders go 1 and 2, what do the Giants do? Now, everyone says they're still in play for Russell Wilson, but if you're really going to sign Russell Wilson, why did you sign Jameis Winston? So that doesn't make any sense.
Do you take Jackson Dart at 3?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I like Jackson Dart. I like him a lot. But you can't take him at 3, so it'll be interesting to see.
Really will be. Let's get it to college football. UF announces a home game versus Furman for the 2028 season, Billy Napier's alma mater. The game will take place on September 2nd. Frank, do you think Billy Napier will actually be coaching Florida?
I don't know.
In the 2028 season.
So when the Paladins come in, you got to be ready. Let me just say that.
It'll be a while before I criticize Florida after all the 0-1 starts that they've had over these last couple of years.
That's a great question, though. Will Billy Napier be the coach in, what is it, 28?
2028.
No.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But even if he survives at this time, that's 4 more seasons. 25, yeah. Nobody goes 8 years anymore, do they?
It seems
not in football,
particularly in that job.
Yeah,
I mean that is
nobody lasts 8 years.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I mean, other than Spurrier, I don't think they've had an 8-year coach since Doug Dickey, and who got the job in 1970.
And it's a totally different job.
Yeah. Oh, of course it is.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard. It is a job that certainly ages you. We will see if Billy Napier can weather the storm and make it to 2028, where he gets to face potentially his alma mater. In the world of boxing, sad news. Rest in peace to 2-time world heavyweight champion George Foreman, who died Friday night. Foreman was 76. He was a 1968 gold medalist. He also launched one of the greatest sports comebacks ever when he emerged from a 10-year retirement in 1987 At the age of 38, Foreman defeated Michael Moore to win the title at 45 years and 299 days old. Just a stunning achievement, a brilliant life, a remarkable man, and he will be greatly missed.
I remember as a little kid, Hays, watching George Foreman win that gold medal and walk around that ring with that flag. I can remember walking around the ring with that little American flag, and he was the greatest American ever. I remember that. He took, and obviously you know the story, he knocked out Joe Frazier. Then he got rope-a-doped by 35-year-old Muhammad Ali and lost to him, which was one of the most memorable losses of all time. And like you said, came back at 45 and knocked out Michael Moore. The bigger story to me for George Foreman is how he went from being this tough boxer dude who disappeared and emerged years later as this lovable, spiritual, wonderful celebrity, loved by everybody. Number one, the George Foreman grill is still known as one of the electric grill you plug in, and people still talk about that. He was famous for his grill, and of course for naming all of his sons George. I mean, I still think that's hilarious, and it's even funny if you haven't seen him talk about it. You gotta. You've seen him quoted about it. He says, "Well, everybody has trouble remembering names. I have no trouble." His name's George.
He was one of a kind. And like you said, from a likability standpoint, probably one of the most likable athletes. And
he made himself
that. After his hiatus from the sports world. In the world of golf, the Valspar Championship at Copperhead completed yesterday. Victor Hovland wins at 11 under, one shot over Justin Thomas, despite Hovland saying, even in the post-game victory presser, his revamped swing is still very much a work in progress. So for Hovland to go win at that course really speaks to his talent level. Boy, if he can really figure out that swing, what could he possibly be? Still a very young man. Hovland won $1.5 million for his efforts.
I thought it was interesting in the presser when he said, listen, it's hard to win when you don't expect to. I've never heard a pro athlete say that. He said, until I get it figured out, I don't expect to win. What I did like is, even though neither one were in the final group, the fact that 1 and 2 were named guys. We need some of our named guys to play well. Justin Thomas played well, finished one shot back, but good for Victor Hovland.
Absolutely, and we're getting close to the Masters. There's a couple of events in Texas this week and next, and then our eyes will be on Augusta National. In college baseball, Florida is 0-6 in SEC play after being swept at home by Georgia.
Yeah, and in fairness to them, their two series have been against maybe the two best teams in the country. Tennessee's ranked first, Georgia's ranked second in most polls. So you play the two best teams. But they got problems. Liam Peterson, their ace pitcher, couldn't go Friday. Pierce Capola, their second best pitcher, has been down. So you're down to your third and fourth best starting pitchers. Your mid-level guys aren't very good. And you're playing Tennessee and Georgia in back-to-back weeks. The one that hurt this weekend is they were up 7-6 Friday night going to the ninth. And their closer allowed a 2-run home run to Georgia. Hung a breaking pitch on an 0-2 pitch, and I think that set the tone. I think if you win Friday night, now you got blown out both Saturday and Sunday, but it feels different. They were devastated after the Friday night game and had to come back. So look, they're struggling, but they beat FSU once. Got to play them again tomorrow night here in town. But you played the top two teams in the country. I wouldn't panic just yet if that's who's beating you twice.
Yeah, we will be at the baseball grounds tomorrow, correct? For Florida State.
Yeah, looking for the FSU's real. Florida beat them the first time, and they beat them in Tallahassee. But FSU's really good. So, but that's got to be a bounce back game for the Gators. Again, midweek pitching is going to be tough because a lot of the guys that would have been midweek pitchers, Aiden King from Jacksonville among those, are now in the weekend rotation. So it's going to be Florida's got to find some pitching.
Absolutely. We will get you out on our musical note of the day because on this date, back in 1987, Billy Joel performed at the Jacksonville Coliseum during the Bridge Tour. Joel has sold a staggering 160 million albums worldwide and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999. This is Only the Good Die Young.
I was there.
Oh, yeah? Good.
And he played this. Okay, I can tell you that.
I knew.
I was there. Yes, you did. It was absolutely fantastic. I've seen Billy Joel who knows how many double-digit times now. And there's never a bad Billy Joel show. And this is a great, great song. Well done, as always.
Thank you.
Back to wrap the program after this.
Only the good die young. That's what I said. Only the good die
Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major League Baseball, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge, the betting favorite to lead the majors in home runs this season. Judge is at plus 300. Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers is at plus 500. Kyle Schwarber plus 1,000 to lead the league in home runs. Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 1,600. Pete Alonso and Yordan Alvarez both at plus 1,800. Luis Arraez of the Miami Marlins is the betting favorite to be the regular season hits leader. He is at plus 600. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals plus 700. Trey Turner and Vladimir Guerrero both at plus 1,200 to lead the league in hits. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. At Duck Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas, build a protective barrier around your yard, and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those suckers ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Here's Linda Beaver.
It's a new year with new goals, but let's face it, not all resolutions are easy to keep. Maybe you promised yourself you'd eat healthier, but pizza still seems like a better idea. Or you said you'd read more, but your favorite show just launched a new season. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, we can help you keep your New Year's resolution. We offer the biggest selection, best prices, and the easiest car buying experience. Let's make a resolution to visit Beaver Toyota or Beaver Chevrolet, where we'll wow you with a new ride for the new year.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
The First Tee Tour Card is back for 2025 and better than ever, with access to over 15 of North Florida's best courses and new this year, local participating businesses. This card is your ticket to saving hundreds. First Tee North Florida is a local nonprofit who build character in youth participants through the game of golf. This annual fundraiser enables this amazing organization the ability to build game changers. Grab your tour card for just $99 at tourcard.org for a list of participating partners, benefits, and restrictions.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Pick in here, beat the spring cleaning rush, and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? Well, you know, we talked all about the basketball. The Gators found a way to survive a very good and determined UConn team, the two-time defending champion. They eliminated them. First time they've lost in 14 games. They'd won 13 in a row in the tournament. The Gators move on to the Sweet 16. We talked a great deal about that on today's program. We talked about the NCAA tournament, what the trends are, and the trends are that mid-majors are going to have a tougher time getting there. No mid-majors made the 16 for the first time in a long, long time because all the good mid-majors players and coaches move on to the high majors once something good happens. We talked about that. Loser Monday, I was a loser today, so Bono's grub for both Hays and JJ and me. We talked a little bit about the NFL draft upcoming and what the Jags might do. It does look more and more like Cam Ward's going 1 overall to the Titans, and both quarterbacks, he and Shedeur Sanders, will go high.
He's having his pro day right now.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's exactly right.
Cam Ward. We'll update you on that tomorrow.
Yes, we will. So that is where we've been over the course of the program today. Aaron Rodgers, it looks like he had a great visit to Pittsburgh, Hays. It looks like he's probably going to be the Steelers' quarterback. It is interesting how long it's taken everybody to announce that when it looks like now the worst-kept secret around. They signed Mason Rudolph to be the backup, so it looks like Rodgers the starter, Rudolph the backup, and that's going to be – they traded for DK Metcalf. It looks like they look set. It just hasn't been announced yet, which is kind of interesting.
It is really interesting, and again, to me, it goes back to is Aaron Rodgers wanting to wait until after the draft, because I agree with, I asked Pete this, and we talked about it too. I don't think the Steelers are going to give him any – I don't think they're going to say, if you sign with us today, we will not draft a quarterback in the first round. I just don't know that you
correct.
You can't get in the business of making those kind of promises, because that would get around the league like wildfire, particularly with it being the Steelers, because that's very uncharacteristic for them. So you can't do that. So if you're the club and if you're the player, it just makes sense for just to say, hey, let's get through the draft. Obviously, if you're Pittsburgh, you're the belle of the ball. He's not signing with the Giants if he thinks there's even a chance that the Steelers – he can win in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
he can't win with the Giants.
And there's no reason he's playing if it's not to try to win one.
I would agree.
Why would you play?
So I think they're both in a position of strength, which, so the compromise should be, hey, let's just get through, let's get through the draft. You really – as a club, haven't done much anyway. I mean, the off-season program will have begun.
Right.
But honestly, as long as Aaron Rodgers is committed to being there, beyond the draft, like if he signs in early May, he still is going to get phase 2, phase 3. He's going to get the mandatory minicamp. Again, I would assume he goes. And then obviously you got training camp. So they're from a time frame standpoint, I don't think you're losing much if he doesn't sign with you until the last few days of April. So yeah, and if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to want to step into the same situation that Kirk Cousins stepped into, who was absolutely blindsided by the selection of Michael Penix Jr. And so I think what happened to Kirk Cousins is there will be aftershocks to that for several years to come with quarterbacks that have still some leverage to pick their destination. And so you make it happen after the draft.
And one more addendum to that very good point you made. He didn't love it when they drafted Jordan Love. So he's sort of been through it. Not only did he watch Kirk Cousins go through it, but he kind of went through it. They took Jordan Love instead of going and getting him a receiver.
Right.
So he's probably a little bit scarred by it.
Yeah.
And watching Cousins go through it. So that's a really good point. So we'll see whether or not that plays out. But that seems to be the story that's brewing in the NFL.
Boy, Cam Ward looks good. Some of these videos of watching him.
He throws a beautiful ball.
If I'm Tennessee, I'm sorry. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
I'm taking Cam Ward number one.
Especially, too, since it looks like Houston's found their guy. I still think more people than not are pretty convinced Jacksonville, when they get it right, has their guy. You now have a chance to get your guy. It's not Levis. And look, Levis was drafted lower than all these guys anyway. So, yeah. So I think we'd all be surprised now if it doesn't wind up being Cam Ward. Again, quarterbacks always rise, so we'll see what happens. The basketball, we'll talk more about it going on. Moving along, we'll tell you more about the Maryland team as we kind of continue along. But you made the best point of all about them. They're good, not deep. They're about to face the ultimate deep team, by the way, in Florida. So Florida's a 5-point favorite in the game. It's funny. I thought 9.5 was too many. I told you that before the game, and it was. I think 5 I would have expected 5 to be more. I guess maybe
I've seen it more.
You have,
I've seen it like 6.5, 7.
Yeah, that's what I would have. I didn't know that. I would have expected that. I would have expected. I was, and again, I've told the story at the top of the program. If you weren't listening, I was nervous. I had dinner with a bunch of friends on Saturday night, a bunch of us to get together for somebody's birthday. And I told all my buddies, a lot of them big basketball fans, I'm nervous as heck about tomorrow's game. My one buddy goes, you got it. I'll give you the Gators in the 9 or whatever. I'll give you the UConn in the 9 right now. I said, no, I don't want to do that. And then I texted you about a half an hour before tips that, Hays, I'm more nervous about this one than I can imagine. So I would not have been surprised if UConn beat them. I would not have been surprised. I didn't expect it. I picked Florida, but I would not have been surprised if UConn beat them. I'd be surprised if Maryland beats them. Maryland's not a 2-time defending champion. Maryland doesn't have a coach with 2 rings. Maryland doesn't have that aura about them. They have a good team, and they belong in the Sweet 16. They were a 4 seed, but they don't. Florida had a fight aura. You were trying to beat the aura and the team. There's no aura here.
And an elite coach.
Yeah, and an elite coach.
He's a moron in some ways.
Yeah, but he's a good coach.
Of how he acts. Yeah. But he's a fantastic coach.
You don't have to beat all that. You don't have to beat all those intangibles. You just have to beat the team. And again, they have a good team. Everybody left's good now. There's no real upsets now. Someone might lose, but there's no. Like you made a good point. There's no embarrassment now if you don't move on, no matter if you're any of these 16 teams. But I'd still be surprised.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind, we talked about Maryland's lack of depth. This is stunning to me in terms of bench points. Maryland is 345th in the country. And again, we've talked about it. There's only about 357 D1 teams. Yeah. So they only get 12.3 points a game from their bench.
Yeah.
Whereas Florida, in terms of bench points, ranks 118th. So, above average on bench points. They average 22 points from their bench. So if the numbers hold, Maryland has got to somehow find, in all likelihood, 10 points better from their starters than Florida starters, who all are pretty good. But Maryland starting 5, they all average between 12 and 16.2 points per game. Obviously, Derek Queen, the freshman phenom, he's the one that averages 16.2 points per game.
He was on that, by the way, that same Montverde team.
Yeah, it's Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg and all those guys.
Yeah.
Did you see all the guys on that team?
It was amazing.
That team was the Sweet 16 team. Yeah. Pretty amazing stuff. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Blue, I was sweating it out.
God.
It was hard. It was
pressure.
Tough on me, Rick.
You think you got pressure? I can't get off the phone.
Yeah?
Florida State had their pro day Friday.
Oh, they did.
I've been hearing from FedEx, UPS, insurance agents all around the city.
Right.
Are these good character kids?
Yes,
Should I go ahead and get them?
Yeah,
Bring them in. I'm like, listen, absolutely. What Jacksonville needs, more Florida State graduates right here in town.
Especially FedEx. FedEx could really.
FedEx, great job.
I mean, you land a job with FedEx. I mean, right out of school, that's a heck of a job.
Jags were there. I'm like, they don't need a punter or a kicker. What the hell did the Jaguars send a representative over there for?
I saw you say that. That was tremendous.
I know. You did sweat one out over the weekend.
Oh, my goodness. What did you make of not just the Gators, but the whole weekend? What was your take from the big picture?
Not a lot of upsets. I mean, I have 13 to 16 teams remaining.
Oh, wow.
And we finally got the one buzzer beater with Maryland, who obviously you guys will face coming up here on Thursday night. But it's been a little bit anticlimactic, which I think is good because that's going to turn. Yeah. And all of a sudden, whether it's Thursday night or Friday night, we're going to start to get some really good basketball games, some really compelling games. Biggest surprise for me so far is what we've seen with Arkansas.
Yeah. And look, they got – Hays and I talked about earlier. Look, they've got guys with heritage, man. They got all those Kentucky guys. You know they were all McDonald's guys. Mm-hmm. So they got about, what, they got like 3 or 4 of them?
Yeah, they've got the FAU kid that got to a Final Four.
And the FAU. So they have good players. It just never came together until so late. So all right, what's coming up?
We got a bunch tonight. We'll certainly look back at what happened over the weekend as far as college basketball. We'll also look ahead. One of my favorite guests, Mark Ross, does an outstanding job with the NFL Network, formerly a front office type. I'm still trying to get the feel of, which is Gladstone, more of the tape and what they did on Saturday, or more of the Trent Baalke measurables and numbers. So I'm going to certainly pick the brain of Mark Ross. That's coming up at 6:25 tonight. That's how we'll get things started.
All right, Rick Blue goes into the night after he gets off the phone from all those FedEx and UPS employers. That was tremendous. All right, folks, that'll do it. Don't go anywhere. Rick's got more of that coming up. We're out here. Tomorrow we'll be live at the baseball grounds. Noles and Gators playing for the second time this year. We'll be there to preview it from the baseball grounds.